when the script, Laurence's script, turned up, what did you think? And there was like sort of character breakdowns, I think, as well in there, wasn't there?
Well, the thing is that Michael liked us to sort of depart from the script anyway, and he sort of set something up, and then he seemed to kind of film the bits that we didn't think were so good. A lot of improvisation went on in it. It's terrible because I don't want to say this about because it was a beautiful script, but I don't remember sort of going over the script because I keep thinking we were all the time, coming off it. And
so why did you want to play Eileen? Because she's a bit of a sort of bitter.
I know, poor Eileen.
Miserable woman, isn't she? Let's be honest.
She was completely, and that's the only time I didn't argue with Michael, but I sort of pleaded with him, because at the end I said, please, can Eileen smile when I hold the baby? Or please, can Eileen hold the baby, please? He said, Kika, I'm not going to be sentimental over this. You cannot smile. I said, oh, God. So even at the end, I'm going, Alice, but I can't smile, I can't look pleased. It's really, really...
But it's funny, because I watched the film for the first time since it came out yesterday, and I detected a little smile when you kill the dog. That's about... It's like when you sit down on the sofa, that seemed to be the only point where...
Yeah, maybe. That's true. Yeah, people didn't like me at all for killing the dog. I mean, that was worse than the other stuff I did.
And there's another nice little bit with the dog where you bark.
Yeah.
Was that in the script, or was that just something?
No. I think that's something I do, and I think I must have thought. I mean, I don't do it often, but it was like I grew up with animals, and I imitate animals, and I think they weren't sure whether they could get a dog at the time, so I probably kind of showed off and went, oh, I can bark, and Michael went, we've got to have that in, and so that dog bark that's how it happened.
But the dog and Bill get some stick from you.
No.
So how working with Jack Shepherd? Just tell me a little bit about that kind of relationship and poor old henpeck.
I know it was terrible. I mean, Michael wanted all of us to sort of live in the places that we were, like the council flats. Me and Jack sort of move in there for a bit, and I think we kind of sort of rebelled. I think we probably spent one night in different rooms, but I know we went to the supermarket together, and we went on different aisles, and Jack was buying his stuff, and I was saying, would you be buying? And Jack was going, yes, I would be buying this stuff. That's what I would be buying. And I would go, oh, all right. And we were sort of like arguing as actors, actually, and not even as the characters. It was very strange. But I've known Jack for ages, and it was odd playing grandparents together, because I knew him as a young man, and it was odd.
So the trip to the supermarket, was this with the camera crew? Was this rehearsal
beforehand?
No,
kind of just for our own sake. He said, you've all got to research your characters. I was talking to my friend who said tonight it's a bit Mike Lee, I suppose, and I suppose maybe it was a bit like Mike Lee might work in a way. So we got our backgrounds, but I don't know. And Eileen was originally she was going to be a cleaner. And we did shoot some of me cleaning a house, but I don't think Michael thought I was very good at it, so that bit was cut actually. But yeah.
And you mentioned that you lived in that flat?
Yeah, we did. We stayed in it. I mean, we were trapped in it. And then rather awful things happened. There were accidents, and there were kind of quarrels, kind of going on in the street. It was quite strange. The whole thing actually. Slightly surreal, and he picked up on Michael so much, that kind of loneliness really that exists in these places, and then I'm so struck tonight by the power of the music and those shots of St. Paul's and the city, and it's amazing really, lovely, and the football match, which I don't think I've ever seen a football match filmed as well as that, with that music going on in the background. Hadn't remembered all that.
And where was the home, Bill and Eileen's home? Where did you shoot that section?
It was Brixton, in some sort of back streets. Funnily enough, no one paid a bit of notice. I think the life was quite dramatic there in a way. So nobody, the fact that a film crew, it was hardly a film crew. There were about 3 people. It was Sean Bobbitt, who'd never done a feature film before. He'd only done documentaries. Everything, as you probably noticed as an audience, it's quite hard to see because it's all handheld camera. And, so just 3 people, sound and Sean and Michael. And then sometimes they'd go into another room and they'd just say, oh, okay, just play the scene, improvise. That very sad scene when Bill says, "You're so horrible, that's why Darren left." And that was an improvisation, and came just like that. It's horrible.
Well, she was horrible, let's face it.
Poor Eileen. No, I think poor Eileen, there was a reason, but we never quite get to the bottom. We don't understand why she's like that, but I think, she had a nice side to it. Just Michael wouldn't let me show it at all.
So one thing that's remarkable about the movie is the way that Michael filmed real locations and took the actors into real locations. You spent most of your time in that house, a bit at Lewisham Hospital, but there was the bingo hall as well.
Yeah.
So how long were you there? Were you really playing? How was that filmed, for example?
Quite a long time. I was really playing. Yeah. And I never knew when they were filming me or not. I just had to play it with everybody else. Actually, I didn't quite know. I had to pretend that I knew how to play it, but I wasn't quite sure all the time how to play it.
And what did the other people around you say or think at the time?
No, they took no notice at all, except some of them said, "Oh, you're new, hello," just joined. Well, that's nice.
So you had a little mic on you all the time, I assume. So
No, I didn't. I don't think I didn't say anything in the bingo thing. But there were other kind of supportive new people. Oh, do you want this, dear? They'd give me a card to help me, show me what I had to do and things.
But you didn't win, I'm assuming.
No, I didn't.
You said about Michael that he's one of the favourite directors you've worked with, like him and Truffaut. So what was it about Michael then?
You never felt that he was going to judge you. He was very supportive. He liked watching actors and following what they were doing. And I think he's a very kind of straightforward person without any stuff that some directors can get when they're quite famous. I mean, maybe he wasn't that famous, and I don't know. But all I can say is he was, seemed to be very straightforward, nice bloke, and you wanted to please him. He's a very young person. He's very sort of quite naive in a way. Although I know his films, that wouldn't show that, but it's interesting. I'd like to work with him again, but it hasn't happened. I'll keep trying.
So was there one thing that kind of surprised you the most seeing the film?
Gosh. I think it was the loneliness, the sadness. I know I was more aware of how often he shoots on a face, and that face, whether it's a child or not, is just sad. It's reflective. So he keeps going from this very noisy background to these eyes of it might be eyes of Bill or Eileen or the boy or Shirley Henderson in the hairdressing. And sort of. So I don't know. It was kind of him on the soul of lonely people in the city in a way. But luckily there's quite a few jokes in it as well. But the eyes, I never before, and I don't remember just being so aware of ending on a face that's somehow quite not empty, but just sort of sad.